Hello, 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 everyone. Let me make sure we are live and ready to go. Hello, let me know if you are out there, if we are live. Tell me where you are watching from. Oh, yeah, we are ready to go. I am so excited to spend this time with you all. Hello to Redefining Wealth. Hello to my folks on LinkedIn and the folks on the Educare Facebook page. You may notice that my voice is a few octaves lower today. Anytime you're going to do something powerful, there's going to be some resistance, child. That's just how it works. But guess what? We're going to do this today. We've been planning this for a few weeks now, and I am not going to hold back. I'm going to give you what I got. I got my little glass of water here if things get a little raspy. But listen, I'm going to give you what I have for you today. Before I get started, I just want to say thank you to Patrice Washington with Redefining Wealth for inviting me. Well, I was already a part of the community, but for inviting me to share with the community today. It is such an honor. And if you've been following her, you know the power that comes with this woman. But I'm so grateful to Patrice for allowing me to share with Redefining Wealth today. Hello, hello. I see you, Dr. Edwards. I'm so glad you're here. If you are here, let me know where you are watching from. And we're going to get right into this because today I want to talk to you about disrupting burnout with purpose. Oh, I see you, Meek Rich. It's good to see you, sis. We're going to talk about disrupting burnout with purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and get on in here. And I'm going to share these slides with y'all so that we can get to the root of what's going on with this burnout. Y'all ready? Let's do this thing. So first of all, again, if you don't know me, you know what? Let me just introduce myself to the people. How about that? If you don't know me, I am Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me Dr. PBJ, and I disrupt burnout for overworked, overwhelmed achievers. I'm not talking about people who are sitting around with their feet up. I'm not talking about complainers. I'm not talking about people who don't do their part. I'm talking about folks who show up over and over and over for everybody else, and they find themselves overwhelmed and in burnout or headed towards burnout because they're giving out everything and never restoring unto them. You're my people. You're my people because I walked through it. You're my people because I coach you. You're my people because I talk to you. I know what you're walking through. So I pray that this refreshes your soul today, that you get one nugget. If it's just one thing, that you will get one thing that will refresh your heart today. I call it heart work. When we work from the heart, there's a cost to that. It costs you in your spirit. It costs you in your soul. It costs you in your mind. It costs you in your body. And it costs you in your relationships. I see you, friend. I see you. So today, I just want to replenish a little bit, pour a little bit back in from what you have been given to other people. I'm here to tell you that I've been an educator for 25 years, an executive coach for over 10 years. I'm the host and creator of my podcast, all these things. There's really not a lot of professional goals that I set for myself that I didn't accomplish. But if I'm honest, it almost cost me everything. It almost cost me everything. So today, I want to talk to you all about what I've learned about disrupting burnout, and specifically disrupting burnout with purpose. So I'll start it this way because this day, the picture on the screen represents the day that I remember, the first day that I remember speaking what my purpose is. But I'll be honest, at that day, I didn't even recognize it. I didn't even know what I said. It was the worst day of my career, the absolute worst day of my career. I'll never forget. I was serving as dean of students at an institution, and I was meeting with a group of students who were protesting. And my goal that day was to connect with those students and find out what they needed, and to connect them with resources and just surround them. In the midst of that meeting, someone from my team came in, disrupted the meeting. And first I was confused because everybody knew what my goal was that day. Everybody knew that those students were my priority. So why are you walking in here? She said, Dr. Jackson, You got to get over to University Police. And I'm looking at her, and she had a blank stare on her face. So I step outside with her. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I don't know, but Chief says she needs to see you right now. If the chief of police calls, then you go." So I explained to the students that I apologized and we would get them rescheduled. And I gathered my things and I went over to University Police. When I walked in, I was ushered to a back conference room. When I got to that conference room, it was wall to wall police officials. You could almost not even hear yourself think because there was so much chatter going on in that room. I knew it was a bad day. I knew it was a bad day. I sat down in the seat and I waited on Chief to come over because I knew when she had a moment, she would come over and tell me whatever she needed from me. A few minutes later, Chief came over and she gave me a list and she said, "I need you to find out if these people were in class today." Yes, ma'am. It was not time to ask questions. It was not time to dig in. Just do what she needed to do. So I pull out my laptop. I start using our information system to figure out what classes these folks had. I start calling faculty members. "Hello, this is Dean Jackson. Can you tell me if so-and-so was in class today?" It was not long before I put two and two together and realized that we had a tragedy on our hands. We had lost five nursing students in a tragic car accident, and we had two who were critically injured. Eventually, we took that whole operation from the police department to our College of Nursing, where the students were connected. They were all nursing majors on their last day of clinicals or headed towards their last day of clinicals. I went from working with our communications folks, trying to figure out, how do you put this in an email? How in the world do you tell your community members that 5 of our students just died today? Went from doing that to breaking the news to a parent. "Sir, can you pull over? Can you tell me her name? Can you tell me her birthday? Sir, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Went from that to standing in an auditorium full of 200 of our nursing students and their faculty to, for the first time, to read the names of the young women who had died that day and the names of the 2 who were injured but still holding on. I'll never forget my friend who was our director of counseling at the time. She was squeezing my hand. She was standing there with me, holding my hand as I read those names. I was ushered out of that room after speaking with those students, and I was headed towards news cameras to represent the university because the news was all over our campus at that moment. So somebody had to say something. And while I was being ushered to the news cameras, our university president was standing in the doorway of that auditorium, and he grabbed me by the arms and he said, "Patrice, thank you." And I remember I didn't even have time to think. I didn't have time to be fancy. I didn't have time to be appropriate. I didn't even have time to think about what his title was. I said, "Sir, I was created for this." And I kept moving. And this tragedy goes on and on and on. If you've ever dealt with any crisis like this, you know that it doesn't end when the news cycle changes. It doesn't end when most folks go back to their normal life. It doesn't end. I'm talking weeks, months, and years. This was in 2015. We're in 2022, and I can still feel it to this day. But I'm here to tell you, in that moment that I spoke to the president, "Sir, I was created for this." I had no idea what I had just said. It just came up out of me. And even days later, as I reflected back on the day, I remember thinking, why did I say that to him? Why did I respond to him in that way? Where did that come from? Today, I can tell you it came from my belly. It came from my purpose that was already in my heart. I just had not recognized it yet. See, I thought my title was my purpose. I thought my job description was my purpose. I thought when I got promoted, I was in purpose. I thought when I got my doctoral degree that I was in purpose. But I'm here to tell you now that all of that stuff are expressions of my purpose, but it's not the purpose. So what is your purpose? What were you created to do? What is the innate, unique value that you bring to the world? Well, PBJ, what does this have to do with my burnout? Well, I'm here to tell you, without knowing my purpose, I was getting the promotions. I was getting the salary increase. I was getting the accolades. I was getting the pats on the back. I received the rewards, but none of that prevented my burnout. In 2019, I finally made it to vice president. All my mentors told me that I would get there one day. And there I was walking in that thing. I had built my career for 20 years. And in August 2019, I found myself walking away with no notice because I hit rock bottom so hard that I was afraid if I came back one more day, that I would not be able to walk out of that place in my own power, that somebody would have to carry me out, and I had to make a decision. I remember that day not being able to hold my own weight up. I held on to the edge of a wooden desk in that beautiful corner office because I couldn't even hold myself up anymore. I had taught everybody in my life that I could be all things to all people, and they believed me, and I had nothing left. So when I say I talk to achievers, when I say I'm here for the accomplished women, when I say I'm showing up for the ones who show up for everybody else, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And I know you. That's why I call you friend. Anybody who knows me, they'll know I say, hey, friend. That's why I call you friend, because we got some things in common. And today I want to give you just a nugget, just a spoonful of PBJ to help your soul, to help your heart, to help your mind, so that you will not only just keep serving, but you will start serving in alignment with your purpose and with who you were created to be. So let's get into this thing. So the first thing I want you to consider is I believe we go through something called cycles of burnout, right? When I say cycles of burnout, I mean that one day you're all right. Like I'm fine. I'm fine. You got a lot on your plate. You know you're barely holding it together. You know you've given too many yeses and not enough nos. You know that you could be busy 24 hours a day doing stuff for other people if your body would let you. If your mind would let you, you would fill your calendar with serving and taking care of other people. That's what I call surviving. You're in the surviving stage. And when you're in surviving, you say, I'm fine. How's work? It's fine. How's the family? It's fine. Everything at home okay? It's fine. How you doing, girl? I'm fine. Anytime I hear fine, I know the cycle has begun. Because fine means I'm barely holding on. I'm all right. I don't need intervention. I'm going to do it. I will take care of it. But I'm just holding on. You're surviving, friend, not thriving. If you don't do something different when you're surviving, then you're going to find yourself in overwhelm. Overwhelm is when the water level in your life has risen so high and you're barely holding your head above water. And you know that it's too much. You know your body is starting to respond. The people who are really in tune with you, the ones who really love you, not just love what you do, but the ones who love you, they're starting to recognize and they're starting to check in on you. And they're starting to ask you how you're doing, but you feel like you got to cover it up. You can't dare let anybody know you have a weakness. So then you say, I got it. Everything's okay. I got it. You need some help? I got it. I got it. I got it is your mask. I got it is your facade. I got it is you telling yourself, I can't dare let these people know that I have a weakness. I cannot dare let these people know that I'm human. I cannot dare let these folks know that I need help. See, when I went through burnout, I first started ticked off with everybody. I was mad. I was mad at everybody. I was mad at everybody because I felt like y'all didn't see me. Nobody saw me. As much as I give and as much as I serve, nobody saw me struggling. Nobody saw me going under. But friend, it wasn't long before I had to recognize that I was the problem. I didn't let them see me. I wore that mask even though it was killing me. I wore that heavy mask every day, that smile, that hug, because how dare I let anybody know that I was struggling? I was in overwhelm. And I'm here to tell you that overwhelm is the whisper, but burnout is the demand. Burnout is the shutdown. You don't have a choice. Your mind, your body, your soul will stop at some point if you don't do something different. At burnout, there are no more words. No more words. I got nothing. I got nothing more. I have nothing more to give. I told you that I walked away from 20 years of a career. 20 years with no notice. I work in higher education. You got to give these folks at least 30 days. I gave them nothing. And I was not there anymore. I'm not proud of that, y'all. But that's where I was. My sister, Lindsay Ray Perry, tells the story of how she collapsed in the street. And she didn't even know where she was or what she lived when she came to. My other sister, Nicole Roan, they're all purpose chasers. Nicole Roan is a capacity coach. She tells the story about how she ended up in the hospital after juggling this corporate job and traveling to work hours a day. Friend, burnout is the shutdown. You will stop. So I want to talk to you about disrupting burnout, disrupting this cycle, doing something different so you don't have to find yourself at rock bottom. So you don't have to find yourself in the hospital. You don't have to find yourself in the street. You don't have to walk away from the career that you built all these years, but you got to know your purpose. So let me tell you real quick. Let me show you these stats. So this is from Gallup. If you're not familiar with Gallup, Gallup is an international organization that does studies and surveys and gives us good data about who we are and how the workforce is working. So Gallup did this survey 2022 in February. And this is what Gallup found. So these percentages are people who say they always or often feel burnt out at work. Always or often feel burnt out at work. K-12 educators. According to this survey, over 12,000 people surveyed or participated in the survey. 44% of K-12 educators say they often or always feel burnt out at work. If you are a teacher or you've been a teacher, holler at me in the chat. Let me see you. Tell me that we're not making this up. These are not even my numbers. These are national numbers. And when you extract teachers, so the 44% are all K-12. I see you, friend. I needed this today. Hang in there with me. We're going to give you what you need. I see you. 44% is all K-12 educators. When you extract teachers from that number, it goes up to 51%. 51% of teachers say always or very often feel burnt out at work. Oh, but colleges and universities, holla if you hear me. You my people, we're number 2. We're number 2 in the country. Now, I knew educators would be on the list. I do this work. So I knew educators would be on the list. I just knew healthcare would be above us. I just knew nurses and doctors who had to handle this pandemic. I knew they would be above us. Healthcare is number 6. Educators, we're number 1 and 2. Where are you on this list? Where's your profession? How often do you feel burnt out at work? I see you, Meet. It's real. And it's not just educators, but I got to talk to my people real quick because this is an epidemic. We're losing our best people, not because they don't want to teach, not because they don't want to serve, not because you don't want to show up, but you're getting to the point that you can't even do it anymore. So is this for you? Is this talk for you today? If you are career frustrated, like I'm in this thing, I've been doing this thing, but what exactly am I doing? Like, where am I going? Where is this taking me? I've been serving, and I don't feel like I'm getting it back. If you're career frustrated, put a 1 in the chat. This is for you. If you've been successful, but you still feel like you're missing something. So you've gotten all the things. You've done what people told you you should do. You've gotten the degrees and you've gotten the accolades, but you still feel like something is missing. This is for you. If you want to honor God in your daily work, If you know that you exist not to just have a job, but you exist to honor God in everything that you do, then this is for you. If you want to have a powerful impact on the world around you, friend, start with the people around you. If you want to have a powerful impact and not pay the ultimate sacrifice, then this is for you. If you feel like people don't recognize your value, I hear this over and over and over with the folks that I coach. Like, I give everything, PBJ, but it's like they don't even see me. It's like I'm not even here. I do my best, but it's like I didn't even show up. This is for you. If you live in a state of overwhelm, that place where the water level is rising and you can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your mind, the cloudiness, the forgetfulness is starting to happen, the strain in your most significant relationships, you're starting to feel all of that. This is for you. If you're concerned that it's too late to talk about purpose, I've done this career, I've been in this thing, it's too late for me to do something different. Hang on in there with me, friend. This is for you. If you're not certain what your purpose is, and if you know there's more, but you don't know what it is, this is for you today. This is for you. I see you, Tiffany. This is for you today. So, when I talk about disrupting burnout, there are three strategies that I share. We're going to dig deep into one today, but there are three strategies that I share. Keep in mind, I said strategies, not steps, because you may be doing all three of these at the same time. Or maybe there's one strategy that's prominent for you, but the other two are working in the background. But these three strategies are pivotal to you disrupting burnout. First of all, you got to check your backpack. Second of all, you got to build your boundaries. And where we're going to dig in today, you got to discover your brilliance. Now, if you want more information about all three strategies, then go to disruptburnout.com. Somebody put that in the chat for me, disruptburnout.com, and you can get more about each of the three strategies. But today we're going deep on discovering your brilliance. Discover your brilliance. So let's get into it. When I say brilliance, I'm talking about your purpose. When I say purpose, I mean that unique, innate value that you bring to the world like nobody else. Think about when you show up in the room, what comes with you. When they call you to be the speaker, what are they crying out for? When they tap you on the shoulder to do the project, what is the thing that you bring to the project like nobody else? If you are a teacher, you don't just teach. There is something that you bring like nobody else. If you are an accountant, you don't just do numbers, but there's a value that you bring like nobody else. If you are a counselor, you don't just do therapy. There's something that you bring to the therapy like nobody else. What is your innate, unique value? What is the thing that you were created with? You didn't ask for it. You didn't do anything to get it, but it's just in you and it flows from you and you can't help it. One of my clients said this last week, and it's so powerful. As we were walking through this journey with her, she said, "It's my superpower and my kryptonite." Now, friend, that'll preach right there. Because the thing that I'm trying to encourage you to put your finger on, it is the thing that you bring that everybody needs and everybody desires, but it's also the thing that will be your largest trip hazard if you're not aware of it and if you don't put some boundaries around it. So it's your superpower and your kryptonite. What is your brilliance? And I don't just say brilliance to be this woo-woo kind of cutesy kind of stuff. We don't have time for cute. I'm talking about when you show up, you shine like nobody else. I'm talking about when you come into the room, there's a power and a value that you bring to that room like nobody else. Friend, what is your purpose? Now, too often we mix up passion and purpose. So I got to help you clarify this because passion and purpose are not the same thing. So your purpose is the innate, unique gift, the value that you have, right? The passion is the expression of that purpose. Follow me. My passion is education. My passion is teaching people the word of God. My passion is this and that. I do a lot of things. I write, I speak, I teach. All of those are passions, but none of those are the purpose. The purpose comes through the passion, but none of those are the purpose. When I didn't understand this, when I walked away from my education job in 2019 because of burnout, I didn't even know who I was anymore. I didn't even know how to introduce myself anymore because I was so used to introducing myself by my title. I thought I had lost everything when I lost that job. But purpose, friend, purpose don't change. The vehicle may change, the expression may change, but the purpose does not change. So you do a lot of things, you have a lot of passions, but none of those passions are the purpose. What's the root of those passions? What do you do through those passions? How do you teach? How do you speak? How do you write? How do you sing? How do you show up? Your expression is different than the value. So the purpose is the value, the passion is the expression. I want you to know the difference. You got to know that. So let me walk you through how I found it because I know that's what you're saying. PBJ, how do I find this purpose? How do I know what it is? How do I find this purpose? So when I look back over my life, because I will always tell you, purpose is not lost. You do not have to go find it. You do not have to go on a scavenger hunt, friend. It's not lost. You just have to discover it. It's always been with you because you can't help it. You can't help it. Whether you're in the boardroom, the classroom, the conference room, or the jailhouse, you cannot help it. Purpose is going to flow from you. It happens so innately that you miss it. It happens so automatically that you haven't put your finger on it because you take it for granted. You think just because it comes easy to you that it's easy to everybody, and that's not true. So, in order to identify the value, the purpose, you got to look back over your life and find when purpose has already been showing up. So, not even showing up as a different person, but showing up as who you've already always been. You got to go put your finger on it. So, let me walk you through it. In my life, this is mine, right? This is my connected dots. In my life, with my family and friends, I've always been the person you come to when your life is falling apart. Always. And I didn't always love that, friend. I always felt like, oh man, nobody can call when you're having a good day. Nobody wants to go to the movies, go to the mall. Everybody's falling apart. Like, I was a little salty about that for a little while. But now I realize I'm not even the go to the movies kind of friend. Like, that ain't even what I do. I'm good when things are bad. I remember being a child. I remember being a child. People would come to me about all kinds of things. Like, ma'am, I'm 12. I don't know what to do with your marriage. I have no idea. But they would just naturally come to me and share their struggles. There was a woman this past weekend. I went to a conference, loved it, beautiful conference. And there was a woman, I was coming out of the restroom, and there was a woman who was coming in, and I ended up staying there for 45 minutes with her sharing her testimony and what she's been through. And in that moment, to pray with her, to pray for her, and to encourage her. I am the crisis disruptor. That's what I do. It's what I've always been. When you look at my education and degrees that I have, when you look at my roles at work, I was on call for 20 years, literally carrying an on-call phone 24/7 for many of those years. I was on call. If the student was in the hospital, if the student went to jail, if there was any kind of crisis on campus, that's what I did. In ministry, I respond to crisis. Y'all, my dissertation, you can Google it. My dissertation is managing crisis on a college campus. I can't make this stuff up. When we lost those 5 nurses, I was writing that dissertation. Y'all don't hear me talking to you. I had no idea. I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just flowing from me. And now I coach women, mostly all women right now, through their career crisis, through their burnout crisis. I am the crisis disruptor. That is what I do. I do it through my speaking. I do it through my teaching. I do it through my writing. If you call me, if I'm showing up, somebody's in crisis. Even today, I don't take anything for granted. In this moment right here, whether you are listening now or you're listening to the replay, the reason why you're listening to this is because there's some crisis in your life that you need to disrupt. And I know that without a shadow of doubt, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to me. That's what I do. That's the value that I bring to every room when I show up. So after I left work because of burnout, I did, after 5 months, go back to work for a couple years before I went full time into what I'm doing now. I went back to work in January 2020. Y'all hear me now? I went to work in January 2020. Things shut down in March 2020. I was there to walk them through the pandemic. And when it December last year, when God said, okay, you've had enough. Now put in your resume. It's time for you to do this thing full time. I'm thinking, God, wait a minute now. I've only been here 2 years. That's not even a good look. But you know what I did? I got them through the crisis. I got them through the crisis. That's what I do. So now that I know what value I bring, now that I know what I bring to the table, you can't tell me nothing because I'm responsible for it. Not in a prideful way, but I know when I show up what I'm supposed to do because I'm very clear and confident in the value that I bring. Let me tell you a few things about purpose. You are more than your title. I don't care what they call you. And I was that person. I've seen so many people that if I get the promotion, it'll be better. If I get the salary increase, it'll be better. If I can become an executive, if I can become an administrator, if I can get my own business, if I can we always think that the next level is going to be the breakthrough. But I'm here to tell you, you can have breakthrough right where you are. And if you don't, you're going to get to the next level and be disappointed because it's not the level. Do not be fooled by success. Whatever your definition of success is, be careful. Be careful. Do not be fooled by what culture tells you success is, because wherever you go, there you are. If you don't know what your purpose is, you will still give all you have to give and find yourself in overwhelm because you're just doing all the things instead of the thing. You show up to do all the things instead of the thing. And I'm not saying don't do your job. Friend, do your job. You need to pay your bills, and these folks are paying you and giving you these good benefits. So do your job. But we do more than our job. We do more. We do more. We do more than the job description. We do more than what is required. And then we train people that that's what we're going to do. So they get used to that. They get used to you going above and beyond. And when you go above and beyond in everything, then you can't be significant in anything. And you are burning yourself out. So you are more than your title. You are more than whatever culture tells you success is. Your purpose is deeper than that. Chasing the next thing is not going to give you the relief, but knowing your purpose, that thing will set you free. Number two, purpose is about being, not doing. Listen, Oprah, on this interview she had at Stanford Graduate School of Business, I love this. You can look for it on YouTube. She basically said, I had a TV show. I own a network. I've been in the movies, but none of that is my purpose. Oprah said that her purpose is to present ideas and thoughts that make people rise to their best self. Whether she's doing that through the Oprah Winfrey Show or through her network or through a movie, that's who she is. When Oprah shows up in the room, she's going to present some idea or some thought that will make you lift up and elevate and rise to your best self. That is purpose. That is the difference between your doing and your being. Most people I engage with, they want to know, what's my next job? What do I do after retirement? Where am I going after this? Should I apply for this? Should I apply for that? All of that's fine. But before we do that, before we even think about what you're doing, who are you? Who are you? You're a human being, not a human doing. And you don't know who you are. And as long as you don't know who you are, you're always going to be chasing the doing. The doing will never satisfy you. It will never fill your cup. You will never be fulfilled until you know the being. The being is what fills you up, and then you do out of your overflow. Let me say that one more time because I don't think I've ever said that before. The being is what fills you up, then you do out of your overflow. So, who is the human being? Who are you at your core? Then you can figure out the doing. It's easy to figure out the next step, the next job, the next position when you know who you are. Purpose evolves. Purpose evolves. So it's not going to show up today like it shows up tomorrow. Magic Johnson, when I watched his documentary, he talked about, his parents started talking about how he was the smiliest baby. And everybody wanted to hold him because he was the smiliest baby and just made people feel good. Then when he was in high school, he started going to this high school where the kids were fighting each other because of busing and desegregation. And the principal tapped him on the shoulder to say, hey, I need you to help bring this community together. And he did. Then when he went on to basketball and how the Lakers were terrible at that point, nobody wanted to pay to watch them play because they were losing. Insert Magic Johnson, and he rallies them to become a championship team. And beyond basketball, from Magic Johnson theaters and Starbucks and communities that he's building in communities where people are saying, don't build it there. They're not going to take care of it. And he's doing in spite of, because his purpose is to rally people to win. His purpose was never basketball. That's the passion. That's the expression. But his purpose is to rally people to win. And it may have looked different at different seasons of his life, but that's what he's always done. Listen, Magic Johnson may or may not know that, but if you know him, tell him to holler at your girl because I can help him out, okay? You got to know your purpose. You got to know that innate value, and then the doing comes easy. There's a book by Gay Hendricks called The Big Leap, and if you haven't read this book, I would encourage you to read it. But he talks about 4 zones, and I'm gonna focus in on the zone of expertise and the zone of genius because I don't talk to people who are incompetent or even just incompetence or in the zone of competence, right? The people that I connect with, they are in the zone of expertise. And that's the dangerous place to be. Because in the zone of expertise, you're doing something that you do better than the majority of people. You get accolades, you get pat on the back. People want you to continue doing that because you're so good at it, but you know something is missing. You know that you could, it's fine. Remember, it's fine. You could show up, the salary is fine, the work is fine. I could do it in my sleep. It's not challenging me. It's fine. And then other people look at you like, girl, what you complaining about? Your life is good. I wish I was you. I wish I had. Forget what other people have to say. Your heart knows. Your heart knows when you are in the zone of expertise. And if you're not careful, you'll get stuck in the zone of expertise because it's good enough. You'll get stuck in good enough. I've come to provoke you today. I've come to push you out of just good enough. You weren't created for good enough. You didn't come from a creator that just does good enough. You are brilliant. You are a genius. You have a value that no money can buy, no salary can pay for, no man can give a title to. I've come to push you today, friend. The reason why you feel like you're drowning is not because you're not good enough. It's because you're too good for what you're doing. And you know it's not prideful because that ain't what we do over here. It's the truth. You have outgrown where you are. And even though it's uncomfortable to be there, it's comfortable because you know it. You're familiar with it. So because it's familiar and it's good enough, you stay. But your heart knows that there's more for you. Your heart knows that there's a deeper work, and I'm here to call it out of you and to push you out of it. I'm here to pull you out of hiding in plain sight. People see you every day, but they don't see you. You show up every day, and they don't see you. You're hiding in plain sight because there's somebody in front of you who appreciates what you do, but they keep saying, do it behind me. Oh, you're awesome, but stay in your place. Oh, you're so good, but get behind the curtain. Let me send the email. You draft it, but let me send it. You do the work, but let me stand up and stand in the spotlight. I know I'm talking to somebody. And it's not that you long for a spotlight. Just stay focused. I know you're not longing for a spotlight, but your spirit is longing to pour out what you were created to pour. And you're being pushed back when it's time for you to step forward. You got to stop hiding in plain sight. It's time to come forward now. It's time because the world needs what you have to give. Your world, your community needs what you have to give. There are people waiting. I feel that. There are people waiting for you to show up. They're waiting, all of you. They're waiting for the deep part of you to show up. They're crying, waiting, praying for you to show up. All of you to show up. And you're allowing yourself to be pressed down. You are contorting yourself to fit into a box that was never created for you. You're contorting yourself to fit into a box that somebody created, but that box is not a fit for you. It's time for you to stop hiding in plain sight. I also need you to keep your eyes on your own paper. When it comes to purpose, it's dangerous for you to try to do it like somebody else does it. It's dangerous for you to try to show up like somebody else because you'll never be a good them and they'll never be a good you. So when we are discovering our brilliance, you got to keep your eyes on your own paper. Keep in mind, I say you have an innate, unique value. Even if it's similar to somebody else's, it's not the same. It's not the same. And you trying to imitate somebody else. It's a difference between inspiration and imitation. It's a slippery slope, friends. But it's a different. You can be inspired by somebody without trying to imitate them. When you move into the realm of imitation, that's where it gets dangerous. So keep your eyes on your own paper. This is about your purpose, your brilliance, your value. So, how does purpose disrupt burnout? I'm glad you asked. So, when you discover your brilliance, when you discover your purpose, the first thing that will happen is you will begin to see your own value. Even your flaws will start to make sense. So, you won't long for somebody to place value upon you because you'll know who you are and you'll know what you bring. And whether they give you the accolade or not, you can be confident in who you are and what you do. So you don't wait for somebody else to value you. You value yourself. You value your own gift. You value what you have to bring to the world. And even like I said, it's your superpower and your kryptonite. Your flaws start to make sense. The things that you struggle with start to make sense. You start to understand yourself in a more complete way. Like, man, the reason why I do this is because I'm called to do that. The reason why I do this is because this is my value. That's what happens. It starts to unravel that burnout. It starts to unravel that burnout. And I just saw that the slide is acting crazy, but how does purpose disrupt burnout is what it's supposed to say. Number 2, you begin to train others how to treat you. If most people in your life overuse you, undervalue you, if most people in your life mistreat you, my friend, you are the common denominator. You have to take responsibility for how you have trained people to treat you because you do indeed train people how to treat you. If you've taught people that you will always say yes, they're always going to call. If you've taught people that you're always going to show up, they're always going to expect you. If you've trained people that you are going to do things for them that they could do for themselves, they'll never try. When you know your purpose, you start to retrain the people in your life how to treat you according to that value. If you feel undervalued or mistreated, friends, start with you. What have you taught them? How have you trained people that they ought to treat you? When you know your purpose, you learn to build boundaries that work. I'm not talking about a boundary, something cute that you write in your journal and never look at it again. I'm not talking about something that you post on social media and you get a lot of rah rah around it and then you never implement it. You don't have the fortitude to keep it. But I'm talking about a value that is rooted deeply in your life. When you know that innate value, you know where your yes line is and where your no line is. If it doesn't align with that value, the answer is no. And that doesn't have to be an ugly no, but the answer is no. It's not your thing. It's not for you. It's not your role. It's not your job. It actually belongs to somebody else. And when you keep showing up to do all the things, you're in the way of the person who's really supposed to be doing that. So when you know your purpose, you know where your yeses are and you know where your nos are. You gain confidence. You become bold and confident. And you become bold and confident in what you bring. And when you know your purpose, you don't leave your future in the hands of other people. You don't wait for somebody to pick you for the team. You don't wait for somebody to tap you on the shoulder. You don't beg for somebody to show up for you. You don't sit and sulk and say they don't recognize me. You create your own table. And I'm not saying you got to leave your job because actually you don't. You can do an excellent, you would do a better job at your job if you knew the value that you bring. You would not be overburdened because you feel like you've been overlooked, but you would be free to create the life that you desire in whatever way you desire it when you know what your purpose is. So I want to move you from the cycles of burnout to the purpose path. All right. So we're making a transition from the cycles of burnout to the purpose path. When you're in the purpose path, the first step is discover. That's when you're looking back over your life and you're trying to identify, okay, where has purpose shown up? Where's the light? Where's the light? When I look back over my life, where do I see this shine? Where do I see brilliance, right? So you're kind of pulling all those pieces together. Then the next step of the purpose path is pursue. As it becomes more clear to you, then you start running after it. Like you start doing things in alignment with that purpose. You start pursuing, you start moving, you start kind of changing your life to align with the innate value that you bring. And then the last part of that purpose path is to maximize it. When you maximize purpose, you look around you and everything is purpose. There's nothing around, nothing that you're connected to that does not have purpose for you. And if it doesn't have purpose, you have let it go. Your life is in alignment with your innate value when you are maximizing purpose. So we're moving from the cycles of burnout into the purpose path. Now, PBJ, how are you going to help me do that? How are we going to do that? I'm glad you asked. So I have a new course that I'm so excited to introduce to you all. It's called Discover Your Brilliance. So, like I said, I have 3 strategies to disrupting burnout. And this is the strategy that has made the most impact in my life. Literally, in less than a year, my whole life has changed. My whole life has turned around. Not just what I'm doing, not just the doing, but the being. How I see myself and how I show up in the room has changed because I've discovered my brilliance. And I want to walk you through doing that for you as well. Discover Your Brilliance is an 8-week journey created for overworked, overwhelmed achievers who desire to identify purpose so you can do the work that fills your soul. You're not just showing up just to say you did. You're not just serving for the sake of other people, but you're serving and you're being filled as well. Work that fills your soul. Is this course for you? This course is for you if you are frustrated in your current role, but you don't know what's next. You don't know where to go. You're tired of hopping from place to place. And you want to strategically, you want to plan your next step. Do you work hard, giving your all to serve others and find yourself exhausted of your sacrifices? If you do, then this course is for you. Um, I've talked to so many people recently. Over and over, I hear, PBJ, it's hard for me to get up in the morning. It's hard for me to drag myself out of bed because I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't have it in me to do this anymore. If you find yourself having a hard time getting out of bed or having a hard time getting out of the house because you can't imagine going to show up to do this one more day, then this course is for you. If you've done just fine in your career, but your heart is telling you there's more, if you know there is more, then this course is for you. Are you willing to contribute to and receive from a powerful community? Now, let me say this, it's one thing to contribute, and my people are good at contributing. That's what we do. We show up and we give, but we're not so good at receiving. But this is a season in your life that you need to receive, not just give, but also receive. So, are you open to contribute to and receive from a powerful community? Now, there are two different communities that I teach. One is your convenient community. Your convenient community are your family members, your physical neighbors, your colleagues, the people that you didn't kind of draw into your life. They're in your life. And no shade, you love them and you serve them, but this is your convenient community, the people that you're just conveniently around. And then there's a power community. A power community, when you show up, it calls you to be more. It provokes you towards purpose. It pushes you when you have a conversation with somebody or when you show up in a group meeting. Everything in you, it makes your baby leap. It makes your purpose jump up and down. It lights your fire. That's your purpose community. The reason why your convenient community doesn't do that is because y'all spend so much time together, y'all think alike. So we're on the same page. And most people in your convenient community look at you and say, you are success. They look at you and say, you made it, but you know there's more. So you got to pull yourself from the people who are applauding you and put yourself in a position where people say, come on, sis, there's more. Come with me. Let's do this together. Oh, yeah, you are great. Uh-huh. You are fantastic. Yes, you are accomplished. And there's more. And there's more. You ready to go to the next level? Let's go. That's a power community. So I'm inviting you to be a part of a power community. What will you experience in this course? You will have access to video lessons from me for 8 weeks. So every Monday for 8 weeks, I'll release a new video lesson. This video lesson will also be accompanied with exercises in the Discover Your Brilliance handbook. There's no other place you can get this handbook because I created it. It's based on my method. So this is the only place that you can get it. But you'll get the full handbook that accompanies all the videos. You're also going to get 8 weeks of live Q&A coaching with me. Now, let me say this real slow. Let me say this. This time in Discover Your Brilliance, I'm going to show up just like this in person, but it'll be Zoom. We'll all be there together, and I will be coaching you through. I don't know that I'm going to live coach in this course in the future. But because this is the first time that I'm publicly releasing it, so I've done a beta with the people on my email list. So shout out to y'all. If you are a part of the beta, I've also done this in one-on-one coaching, but this is the first time that I'm releasing this package. So because of that, I am going to show up every week and not only give you the video, not only give you the handbook, but I'm going to coach you, help you, coach the group, help you walk through this journey. In the future, this will probably be a self-paced course. So if you want the coaching aspect, you need to join us now because I don't believe that I think in the future it'll be self-paced. It's still going to be powerful, but it's going to be self-paced. And again, if you want access to the exclusive power community of people who are walking this walk together, people who are journeying together, then you need to join us. Okay, so what is the investment? How much is it going to cost? So if we go back here, you can see what each the videos $497, the handbook $297, weekly coaching $997, the community $497. That comes to $2288 value. But you are going to get this for $525. Now again, and I listen, my folks have gotten on me about this price. Okay, like PJ, what you thinking? Like you should be charging more. Here's why. My spirit tells me that there's somebody who's going to join me on this journey who needs this price. And I don't know who you are, I don't know, and it's none of my business. But I have to be spirit led. And I believe that the people who are going to show up and sign up for this course, they mean it for real. They mean it. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they're really ready to identify what God created them to do. So the price is because that's what my spirit is telling me right now. So it's $525 for 8 weeks and everything, the handbook, the weekly coaching, the videos, the exclusive community, everything that you're going to get, $525. And there are a couple of pay options. If you pay one time, if you pay one time, then you'll get $50 off. You'll get $50 off, and it'll be $475 for you one time payment, and you'll be done. If you need the payment plan, that's out there for you as well. It'll be 3 payments of $175 for the total of $525. So whatever fits your budget, whatever you need, there are a couple of payment plans there for you. If you take fast action, if you decide, if you know right now this is for you, if you register by this Friday, so October 21st, you will have extended access to the course. So we will end this course at the end of this year. I'll talk to you more about that in a moment. And if you join by Friday, you'll have access to it into the new year for a couple more months. Okay, so only the people who choose and make a decision and commit will have extended access to the videos, the handbook, and all the recordings from our live coaching sessions. If you're interested, you can go to discoveryourbrilliance.co. Somebody put that in the chat for me. Discoveryourbrilliance.co. I've got some testimonials there. I'm answering your questions there. More details about the course. Everything that you need is there. I see Tanya said, "Thank you, Dr. PBJ, for helping me." If anyone is on the fence, do it. This is worth whatever the ask, but at this price, don't pass it up. Dr. PBJ changes lives. She did mine. Thank you, Tanya. Let me say that this is what happens. Let me say this real quick. That's what happens when you live in purpose. That's what happens for other people when you show up with your value. And I'm not special. It's not just me. When you show up with your value, when your purpose goes before you, people will be impacted with the same power and the same level. So I want you to know that this is not just something that I'm talking about. This is something that I live. This is something that I live. It's worth it for you, and it's worth it for the people that you are called to serve. Thank you for sharing that, Tanya. All right. So, this journey was created to help you identify the signs of purpose throughout your life, learn to connect the dots in order to identify your innate, unique value, to create a vision for how you will align your life with your God given purpose, and to consider the next steps of your purpose path. So, I created this with you in mind to not only help you identify where brilliance has already shown up, for you to think about how brilliance is going to show up in your future and what your next step is in order to do that. So what happens next? Again, discoveryourbrilliance.co. So if you go to discoveryourbrilliance.co, no M, just .co, then you can see all of the information, some more testimonials and other information there. When you register, you will get immediate access to the course platform and the course community. This is in a course package. You'll see it. There are instructions, everything's there that you need. The welcome orientation is already posted for you there to welcome you there and get you started on the pre-work. So you could start today. You could start right now. As soon as you register, you could start today. What you need to start is there. The Discover Your Brilliance handbook will be released to everyone who registers on October 31st. The first video lesson will also be released on October 31st. We will meet live for the first time Thursday, November 3rd, and then we'll meet through the end of the year, except Thanksgiving Day, because your girl got to hang out with family. Now, let me say this real quick, because you may be thinking, dang, through the holidays, PBJ? Absolutely. Absolutely. One, because this is when I've been called to do it. Two, if you're not going to do it now, you're not going to do it in January. I thought about, okay, put it out in January. That's where everybody wants to change their life. That's where everybody wants to do something. But here's what I know for sure, friend. There's no good time. There's no good time. There is always something else pulling for your time. So you have to dedicate the time that you need to do this for you, whether it's through the holidays or in the new year or for whatever, whenever it shows up, there's always going to be an excuse for you not to show up for you. So I would encourage you as we end this year, why wait to January? Why wait till the new year? If you can walk through this journey right now and go into the new year already knowing what your value is, what could happen for you in 2023. I firmly believe how you end a thing is how you enter the next. I firmly believe that. That's why when people just show up to the gym in January, they're not showing up anymore in March. Me, I'm people. I do that. I'm getting delivered though. Hold on. I'm getting delivered. Y'all stay focused. But the reason why is because you ended the year gluttonous and then you show up in January like, oh, I'm going to change my life. No, you're not. No, you're not, because you didn't make a decision. You didn't commit. When you commit to something, you can end the season doing that, and it determines how you go into the next season. So I believe that this is specifically for right now, because those of us who are going to walk this journey together, we're going to end 2022 with intention so we can walk into 2023 with fire, ready to show up full of all the purpose that we were created to do. So it's right now. It's right now. I love it, Andrea. I see you, sis. I'm waiting on you. Come on in. Come on in. Meek Rich says, you're worth it. Do not hesitate. Dr. PBJ is the real deal. I love you, sister. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. All right. So that's what I got for you. I told you that I would share with you how to disrupt burnout with purpose. And that's what we did. We showed you how to disrupt burnout with purpose, but also introduced you to how we're going to identify that purpose and that brilliance. And I invite you to join us. So go to discoveryourbrilliance.co. All the information that you need is right there. Registration closes on October 31st. And we start November 3rd. But again, whenever you register, you can start that day because everything you need to get started is there. It's not a ton of work. It's not going to overwhelm your life, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you're tired of grinding in circles, if you're tired of aimlessly moving through, giving your all, but not feeling like you're being restored, this is for you. This is for you. So let me ask, are there any questions? I'm checking the chat. Are there any questions? Does anybody, and I'll go back and check these chats after this live is done as well. If anybody has any questions for me. But it is, I want to put this to discover your brilliance. Your brilliance.co. Yep. Okay. Centrisa, I see you. Ooh, can humanizing people be your purpose? Absolutely, it can be. That's powerful. That's powerful. We haven't talked through any of the steps, so I don't know. I mean, I know you, Centrisa, but that can absolutely be your purpose. Humanizing people, man, and talk about a powerful purpose, especially in this day and age where we call friends the number of people who follow us on social media. We've forgotten what human connection and being a human being is. So that can absolutely be your purpose. And when I think about the work that you do, Centrisa, it makes sense that through your work, through the therapy that you give, you are humanizing people. I love that. I love that. Dr. Kostick, I see you. I see you. All right. Listen, I'm going to get out of your way. I love y'all and I mean it. That's why I always say love always, PBJ. I mean that. I mean that. And I am created and I'm called to disrupt your crisis. That's what I'm here for. So anytime you call on me, that's what you're going to get. And I pray that you all will discover your brilliance so you can show up in the fullness of who you are and not fall into the cycles of burnout, but stay on the path to purpose. Love y'all. Thanks so much, Patrice Washington, Sean C., everyone connected to Redefining Wealth. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you. Have a good day, friends. Bye bye.